Hello everyone, welcome to the talk show. Today we will be having a Q&A session with Mr. Lê Minh Hà, the author of the book Cao thủ IELTS đuổi theo 9 chấm. Hello Mr. Hà, how are you feeling? I've got to tell you, I'm a big fan of yours and I'm studying for the IELTS test by myself, so I'm kind of nervous to do this.
I'm feeling great. I've been in the shoes before. I know the feeling of worry before the test. Trust me, everything will be alright.
Alright, so can you tell me a little bit about the book you wrote? How did the idea come to be?
Yeah, so originally I had a publisher come to me and suggested that I write an IELTS vocabulary book. To be honest, vocabulary books are a damn dozen out there already, so I didn't want to do it. Instead, I proposed sort of an autobiography of my study journey. I feel like that way I can write in a much more genuine manner. That publisher didn't like the idea, so I wrote a draft and sent it to a couple of other publishers. Well, Alphabooks read my draft, they liked it, and the rest is history.
In the book, you mentioned the factor of passion in studying. So can you tell us how you developed that passion for studying?
Yes, passion and motivation are the overarching theme of the book. I think everyone has a different source of motivation to study. For me, as I've mentioned in the book, my main motivation has always been to know more. I want to be able to read Wikipedia, to read any source listed on Google, to watch any documentaries, and mostly just to satisfy my thirst for knowledge. That's why I was so determined to master English. I think it's incredibly important to figure out your own source of motivation. You cannot ever be successful without a clear passion in what you do. What is your motivation? Is it to study overseas, to have a good score to impress others, or to challenge yourself? Only you can answer it.
How long did it take you to achieve the score, and what were your studying methods?
When I was in my 11th grade, I took the TOEFL and I got the equivalent of 5.5 IELTS. I was really disappointed with this score. I spent several months studying intensely, and then I retook the test and I got 7.5. And then to climb from 7.5 to 9.0, it took me another 3 years. How did I do it? It's a long story. You should definitely get the book. The short story is that I spent most of my time copying from the highest quality English sources such as the BBC, the New York Times, or channels like Vox. To produce high quality English, you've got to learn from the highest quality sources.
You got an 8.5 in writing, which is an insanely high score. How did you do this?
So, as I mentioned above, I spent a lot of time copying the text of the best writers of English out there. That's definitely the main factor. Also, I switched my writing style to focus more heavily on examples. Previously, I would write in a very explanatory and theoretical way, but then I started to include real-life examples in my essays, and it made a huge difference. I actually jumped one band score by incorporating this technique.
You also achieved a 9.0 in speaking. Can you share some tips for us?
It's a very broad topic. I can offer two very important tips here. First, make sure to speak clearly and slowly. A lot of people have the misconception that the faster you speak, the more fluent it will appear and the more it will impress the listener. Well, this is not true at all. At least with IELTS, there is no score for speed. So it's much better to speak slowly and deliberately so that you have more time to think over what you're going to say. And you're much less likely to make mistakes as well. Secondly, make sure to focus on expanding your answer. Examiners prefer in-depth answers, so make sure to give only one or at most two ideas and then expand on it.
That's great to hear. And here's my last question. What do you think about the idea that a good IELTS teacher needs to have a high score in the IELTS test?
Obviously, a good IELTS score indicates a teacher's language abilities and therefore is a very important factor. But there are many other factors to consider as well. To me, what makes a truly capable teacher is empathy. The teacher should be empathetic to students' problems, work out a solution, and do what it takes to help students achieve their goal. That's why I have known teachers with extremely high score, 8.5, but since they have studied English from a very young age and English came to them very naturally, they have trouble understanding the problems that adult learners face. And on the contrary, many teachers have only a reasonably good score, 7.5, but are very patient, have good explanation skills, and can identify students' problems very well. So yeah, at the end of the day, you need a decent IELTS score to be a good teacher. But even more important is whether you can understand and help students achieve their goals.
Thank you, Mr. Ha, and see you in the next video.